welcome to the GOATED podcast. I'm Logan,
Yeah, I'm Jaden.
and this is episode 69 of the podcast. Today we'll be talking about Pearl Harbor and D-Day and why they're actually very important events that have a deep connection to each other.
Can't believe it's already been 69 episodes, Logan.
Yeah. So during the duration of D-Day, there are many different types of vehicles in use. They include like giant boats. They use smaller boats to land troops and take troops onto the beaches. They use other types of planes as well, but other types of vehicles played large roles in actually like the what happened and what planned out during D-Day.
Oh yeah, like which types of vehicles?
Yeah, so a big example was the Allies used these tanks that could actually like work in water, which is pretty impressive considering the fact that like most tanks just explode when they go in water. I know, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, they had many submarines that they just keep submerged for long times and just take them from these British military bases and take them to the French bases on the beaches.
Any big examples of like some of these tanks?
We got the German. It was the A62 Tiger. It was a really powerful tank. It was supposed to be stronger than the U.S. Sherman, which is the Allied strongest tank they had, and the Tigers was the most powerful tank out there. And yeah, I think that's pretty impressive that they had a tank.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of the vehicles,
Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. They both use like boats, ships, and planes to attack the naval base. And the reason they attacked Pearl Harbor was because they wanted to expand their land into Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, and their only possible contesting thing was the US. So they thought they could cripple the US's navy, they could do some sort of peace negotiation, and get a lot of land.
So Pearl Harbor that had a large outcome in how it happened in D-Day. So what happened was when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, that's when America declared war on Japan. And America declaring war on Japan allowed them to join the war to help Britain and Canada. So during D-Day, there were many different actually countries that were involved with this, like more than you think, but most of them are your obvious three. There's the Britain, there's Canada, and there's America. Well, there's some other ones too. There's some Polish, some French, and some other small European countries such as Belgium. They had around 130,000 men cross the English Channel for D-Day, and these are all in boats, so these are a lot of boats then. And the Canadian troops, they landed at Juno Beach during D-Day, and yeah, there's a lot of different countries that were involved in this, way more than I figured before.
Yeah, there were 130,000 men in 5 different beaches, right? Was it 5?
I think so, yeah.
but before we get into today's episode, we need to thank our sponsors.
FanDuel with their amazing new betting sponsor ways. It's amazing what you can do now with the power of sports betting. Before, the old days of having to manually go to Las Vegas and do all that stuff is all behind us. Now, all you can do is go online, it takes 5 minutes to the same day parlay. You can either cover or go over the spread, and if you do, then you can cash out anytime you want. That's how I really like about FanDuel is that even if I feel like I can spend a lot of money, I set a safe bet limit for myself so I don't go over it and I don't get gambling addiction, which I really like.
That's very smart. Are there any deals going on right now?
Yes, right now when you place your first bet in FanDuel, you get an immediate $5 cash out option. So even if your bet does not hit, you will still get that $5 cash out prize. And that's why I like about FanDuel. You can cover from any sport, like any sport you think of, like basketball, hockey, soccer, football, baseball, you name it, it's on there. That's why I love it, and you can just cash out anytime you want. So if you don't feel like doing the bet, no worries, you can cash out anytime and cancel it. But yeah, anyways, in today's episode, thank you.
Love FanDuel.
Yeah.
All right.
After Pearl Harbor, what led up to the United States bombing Japan twice, they used revolutionary weapons at the time, and these weapons were some of the most powerful and most deadly the world's ever seen. And they had
atom bombs.
Yeah, they had large impacts in the world today as we know it as. Most cases you see in modern times, such as Russia, North Korea, India, United States, they all have these big nuclear powers that it's pretty much like a Cold War.
It completely changed the world for
Yeah.
40 years afterwards.
There's always threats of nuclear war, but if someone does anything, that's pretty much end the world because
Everyone's going to bomb
and
Yeah.
everyone's
And
just
immediate
gone.
retaliation. Everyone's gonna die.
Wait,
And
wait,
yeah.
wait. Hiroshima was bombed on August 6th, 1945.
Yeah, August 6th, 1945. That's my birthday.
1945?
1945. No, August 6th, 2008. But yeah,
Alright.
that's my birthday. And yeah, so my birthday's on a very bad day in Japan. For them, especially.
Yeah, and we're filming this on December 7th. So, lots of anniversaries, I
Yeah,
guess.
December 7th. The day. Yeah, today was the 81, 2 years ago. It was the Pearl Harbor.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but
This was the first bombing of Japan. They actually dropped 2 bombs.
yeah.
One in Hiroshima, one in Nagasaki.
Yeah, they're trying to get one up on Japan, I think.
Yeah, there was lots of like racism going on. They didn't
Yeah.
bomb Germany or anything.
No,
because
there's crazy propaganda going on. So D-Day is considered one of the most important battles in the world, as at its time it was considered the largest naval battle in history, and to this day it still is the largest naval battle in history. Over 850,000 men, which is about half the population of Idaho, the state, and about 148,000 vehicles were in use. And when did it start again? I'm trying to remember.
it's like June
June
5th or June 6th.
June 6th, I believe, right?
Right,
Yeah,
June
and it
6th.
lasted until May 7th, 1945.
So that's a year.
That's
almost
about a year because it ended with a Nazi surrender as they got pushed back constantly. After all these men kept landing on their beaches, and by June 30th, hundreds of thousands of men had landed all across different beaches. There were like about five. Don't remember the names exactly, but there's about 5 different types of beaches there. It was in France, and yeah, it was pretty impressive, and still is one of the most important battles in history.
One. And like the result of the bombs, because America bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan surrenders on September 2nd, 1945. Hiroshima was built back to its pre-war status, so it becomes a big fishing city again. But still, this doesn't change the fact that many civilians were killed.
A lot, right? A lot of
Many. This definitely like started the rapid movement of the nuclear warfare in the Cold Wars. What happened between the North American and European countries and like Russia. They're all threatening nuclear war, like from the 50s to the 80s. Really long time. Yeah, this was like both things were definitely very significant.
Yeah, they were both very significant. They both had a large outcome on like society as you know it. Like right now, the world look a lot different. An American open bomb that started the whole chain reaction, which caused most of these. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say the reason D-Day is so significant is it pretty much was the beginning, the end of the war. It lasted a full year, but that full year helped the Allies greatly. It helped stop Germany from their terror on these innocent civilians and Jews. It also they got pushed back hard by the largest naval battle in history. It started all pushing the Germans back. They couldn't keep up, so eventually they surrendered. And that's really why it's significant. Is it caused the Germans to surrender and ended most of the war.
Yeah, they're both very significant. They ended the war by making Germany and Japan surrender.
Yeah, though that's really important because Japan that caused the war to end, and that caused a lot of soldiers to be able to go home, and they stopped a lot of casualties. The bomb being dropped, and it was very significant there.
Reunite with their families.
Yeah.
Everyone's like post-war. Everyone's like still depressed over what happened, demented even.
Yeah, like PTSD for a lot of people. Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it was really bad. Okay, so yeah, so D-Day is Pearl Harbor. They're both really modern. In today's modern society, they're both really significant. Like if you go to both, I think you could visit those sites, and you can just tell like it's like the second you step foot there, like you can just feel, you can pretty much feel the connection to it. Like what happened at these places was horrible, but still they had a very vast outcome on modern society, and society would be very different today if it wasn't for these events. These events, some of them may be horrible, but they did change society for the better good.
Everyone knows about these. Everybody, like I think everyone in school studies these regardless of where you actually live in the world, whether it be Canada,
Yeah.
the United States. Egypt, China, they
Saudi
all study
Arabia,
this.
yeah, anywhere. Anywhere with that you learn about history, you learn about this. Most people know this, I'd say. Yeah. Anyways,
Alright.
that does it for our episode today. So thank you for listening. And,